Alright, good morning, and we are back here at Universal. As this morning we have a 6-house Unmasking the Horror tour. We went through the houses last night. Now we're going to see them today in the daylight. This is going to be a different video because, you can't really film in any of the houses. You can just take a couple pictures, so it'll just be a bunch of me talking over a bunch of pictures. It'll still be cool, but I'm excited for all these houses. I'll show you the houses we get to go through today when we get in and checked in. And just as always, like last year, the check-in for Unmasking the Horror is over here by the former Blue Man Group building, also formerly Nickelodeon Studios. And here are our houses for this 6-house tour: Universal Monsters, Horrors of Blumhouse, Bugs, Descendants of Destruction, Dead Man's Pier, and Hellblock. I am super excited for Dead Man's Pier. And here's this year's Unmasking the Horror lanyard. I really like last year's better, I'm gonna be honest. This is kind of really basic this year. And then here's our pin for this year as well. I do like that it has the Amulet of Fear. And on the back you can see how the screams are made. Now you know the secrets behind Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. There's no reason to be afraid of the dark. Just kidding. It's still absolutely terrifying. I really like this pin. It's really, really cool. So here is the room that we're in for the tour. And unfortunately they don't do pre-ordered lunch. You kind of just go on your own. And as you can see over there, you can see there's a couple costumes from Horror Nights past. On the left you have the Meats costume, and on the right you have Cindy Kane's costume. That's really cool that they have those there. So they're actually using these speakers, like the headphones, so you can hear what your tour guide's saying, even if you're not right next to them. I actually really like that for this year's, for a change for this year. So our first house that we're going to is Hellblock Horror. We're doing a lot of the soundstage houses first. So Hellblock Horror was our replacement house this year for what was supposed to be rumored as Evil Dead Rise until the movie was canceled. So as you can see here, you can see the facade, or the main facade of the house. And in every house this year there was a 31, and in this house this was block 31. And this is just a reference to it being the 31st year of the event, as well as 31 being the year for Halloween, or the date for Halloween. And throughout the entire house, as you can see here on the door, there was a lot of these symbols, and these were a bunch of different languages. They actually created languages for a ton of the different monsters that were inside of the attraction. And as you can see here, there's actually a head of a mouth brooder, as you might have noticed from the Depths of Fear house. And this is actually just in the first room. And normally in here there was, I believe, some sort of vampire guy, if I remember correctly. And it was super fogged out and it had a bunch of strobe lights. It was actually a pretty cool scene. But originally there was supposed to be another character from Depths of Fear in there rather than the vampire person, but it never actually happened. Now, we were told that Hellblock and Halloween was a double run house, meaning that the houses are back to back to each other. So you could have one person scaring in their boo hole, and then they turn around and Michael Myers is scaring in his boo hole behind him. So it was just kind of funny that they told us about that. Now this next area you can see here is the cell for one of our tour guide's favorite characters, which was Iguanakilia. And it was I just thought it was funny, and it was a funny name, so I decided to write down a little notes about it. And this next picture is talking about the 10 phrases to know. So this is once again talking about the little languages that they made for the monsters, and it has just a bunch of different English words or English phrases that are in those different languages for the the guards to know how to talk to the other monsters throughout the house. And then here's all the protocols for the holding cells. I just thought it was very interesting, and there might have been some Easter eggs in there, but I wasn't really able to find any super important Easter eggs in there. We were told that a little bit about the backstory and how this is kind of like a metaverse type house, and how this is the area where Horror Nights monsters go when they're not being used for Horror Nights. It was just super interesting being told about that. And now you see here there is this Halloween spider. Our tour guide said that it was Harry the Halloween spider, but that's not actually a canon name. They just said that that was what the name they called him. And Harry the Halloween spider is in every single house, just like the butterflies were last year. But this is their special Easter egg in every house this year. And we just have different pictures from throughout the attraction here. Just this is bunk beds area that I thought was pretty cool. Now this next animatronic here, if you went through this house, you might notice it. This is actually an old Hellgate prison prop. They call it Old Faithful. And in this scene that he's in, they actually recreated kind of a scene from Hellgate prison. So I just thought that was a super interesting fact as well. And there's just another guard who's dead in there. The next thing, though, speaking about old Horror Nights props, is this actual prop from an old prop that is called the Blood Eagle. And I was told that it has been used for over 20 plus years at the event. Honestly, super cool. And just more area of the prison that I decided to take pictures of. A big part of this attraction is guest flow and the guest flow scares. So being able to hold out your arm and direct guests in a specific way to keep the flow going, which is why this was one of the houses that had the least amount of security in it, because they really allowed the scare actors to be a part of keeping guest flow going. And this head here I actually thought was very interesting. It kind of looked like the characters from The Spawning, like the redesign for them. I just thought that was super interesting. And then we have all the different vampires and everything from the very dark hallway section of Hellblock right before you get into the power core. And this is the power core room where, as you can see on the wall, the red button. This is actually, they called it a Chovy, which is a pressurized fog shooter. And they said it was easily $3,000 just for the fog shooter. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, that's awesome. And then how it shoots out fog at, I don't remember exactly how fast, but it was very interesting. And they said that you also die in this house. This is one of many houses that you end up dying in at Horror Nights this year. After there, we ended up heading into our next house, which was Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake. And we have a couple pictures in here. We were not able to take that many pictures in here, but it was still a decent amount. Now, they told us a little bit about the story. We were able to take pictures of the sign, which was originally from the Dead Man's Wharf scare zone, and it just talks about the actual original story and how it translates into this house. And then you can see, once again, just more pictures and talking about the attraction and how the Annabelle Lee that you'll see, it's the big ship in the attraction, in the house, that is actually based off of an old Edgar Allan Poe poem. And once you head into the Fisherman's Pier bait and tackle, the old captain's widow, you see Captain Arthur Wilson at the bar with amazing blacklight makeup. I thought that was really cool. And then you can see the amazing bar corkboard. This has so many Easter eggs on it, including the mouth brooder, the Marine Lab thing that's a reference to an old movie where talking about Jaws 3 and Sequest, where the little dolphin there is actually Darwin the dolphin from Sequest, which was, I believe, an old movie. They were talking about it, how Universal partnered with SeaWorld to do filming for Sequest and Jaws 3. It was just a super interesting thing that they were talking about and referencing. But then this section of the corkboard talks about Brandy, the lost locket that bears the name of the man that Brandy loved. I absolutely loved that Easter egg. Probably my favorite Easter egg of this year. And then they also have on the right and the left on the blue piece of paper just talking about the old Jaws attraction and also Quint's drawing of the shark. And then you can see a picture of James Westthorne from Tooth Fairy. It's my tooth. You can't have it. It's mine. I just thought that was hilarious that they included that little Easter egg. Oh, and here is Thunder the Pomeranian. They just said that they found this old antique just piece of art that they just found at a yard sale and decided to throw it in the house this year, and all the different guides absolutely loved it. And just more pictures throughout the house. This is the section with the divers. I loved the makeup on the divers. They were so cool, and the fact that they had black light makeup on and everything. I just loved the use of black light makeup in this house this year. And then up there you can see that we're overlooking the section where the siren, the captain's widow, would be standing, playing the violin. And then from there we head into the actual like the boathouse that has the boat there that was supposed to have a scare actor on it, but unfortunately did not have there anymore. And this is actually, we were told this is the most boats ever purchased for a house at HHN, so that was super cool. And their guess that this is probably the most expensive house of this year. And then this was, like I said, that was supposed to that area, that pool there was supposed to be filled with water, but I heard that the house flooded after the first day, so they had to nix that effect after the first night. And we have the orca up there, another reference to Jaws. And finally, we see the Annabelle Lee. I absolutely love this second interior facade. It is so beautiful, and especially with all the lights and effects working, it's amazing. But even during this daytime tour with all the lights on, it's still impressive. This is by far my favorite house I've ever been through at HHN, and it was so amazing being able to see it. And up there, once again, we see another shot of the captain's widow's standing area that she has where she plays the violin. All right, so we just got done lunch. We give you an hour for lunch. They don't give you a spot to just go. They kind of just let you go and city walk and pick whatever. So we went to Hard Rock. Super fast, super easy. Wasn't very crowded. So we have about 10 minutes until we have to be back to get back on the tour. But so far we've done the two houses. We've done Hellblock Horror and we've done Dead Man's Pier, and I still have such a great appreciation of what went into Dead Man's Pier. The story, the scenicness of that house, and the effects that went into it. It is an amazing house, and I actually really do understand more of the story for Hellblock now as well, because she kind of explained it in every room and how it all went together. So I really do enjoy both of those houses. Hellblock is still kind of because I know it was a replacement house. Everyone knows it was a replacement house, but it's still a pretty amazing way that they switched that over so fast. But now we're heading back over to Blue Man to get back in to do the next half of our tour. Alright, so we're walking over to our next house, and that's going to be Universal Monsters Legends Collide. I'm actually excited to see this one during the day. It's really like another scenically beautiful house, so I'm excited to see some of those parts that I wasn't able to see going during the nighttime event. So our next house was Legends Collide, Universal Monsters Legends Collide. Now, we weren't able to take a lot of pictures inside of this house just because it's an IP, so I understand we don't have a lot of pictures from in there, but I loved the interior facade for this. It was so cool, and the fact that it was probably one of the largest statues, if not the largest statue that they have ever made at Horror Nights for the giant, like, pharaoh there. It was so cool, and the projection effects that they had there and the tent being there, it was just so super cool. I loved that entrance facade. And you see this little cot here that's actually a cot from Nightingale's Blood Prey, I believe, the first one. That was awesome that they included that in there as a little Easter egg for the HHN fans. And now we have this amazing tomb of the mummy when they start resurrecting the mummy. And we were told over and over again that this is actually based on the mummy's hand mummy, not the Imhotep mummy from the movies. So this is based on the mummy's hand. This is the mummy Karis. So we were told that's what it is. I loved this scare here. This was the mirror scare that they had. It was so amazing how they redirected the mirrors to make it look like Dracula was in 3 places at once. I absolutely loved that scare every time we went through it. And that's basically it for that house. Now, next up we have Descendants of Destruction. Another one of my favorite houses this year. The facade on this is amazing. Based in New York, based in the subway, and as you can see the letter CDLM there, that's just another reference to the people who worked on this house this year, so just a nice way that they can sign their work. And I just, honestly, I took a bunch of different pictures just throughout this house of just different things that I absolutely loved seeing with the daylight, with like the lights on and everything, just seeing a bunch of different skeletons and the references that I believe are to the quote unquote sequel to this, or the prequel to this house, which was Seeds of Extinction. And now you see the little subway car in the back. There's actually 4 different subway cars throughout this entire house. It's amazing that they were able to build these. And on the subway car, you can see the number 31. So that's our 31 for this house. And this was inside of one of the subway cars. It's just Cleaner Universe, a reference to Epic Universe. And here's the inside of one of those subway cars. Super amazing detail on this house. This section has a really cool double scare if you ended up getting it. And of course, there it is. The beautiful vertical subway cars. The first time I went through this house, I was absolutely blown away on how they did this. But I figured out that if you looked up to the left there, you can see that there actually is a mirror. So they were able to make it look like there were way more subway cars than there actually were using those mirrors. It was super amazing finding that out, but being able to like really recognize how they were able to do stuff like that. And we were actually told that we were told of what brand of fog that they use at Horror Nights. It was super cool to find out that they use Froggy Fog for everything. And that bioluminescence scene in this house is chef's kiss. Absolutely loved it. All right, now we're moving on to Bugs Eaten Alive. This is one of my least favorite houses of the event. I just didn't really get it. It wasn't like, it was fun, but it wasn't really scary. So I don't know. But I loved the fresh pine scent. That was amazing. It was hilarious when I first found that out, that it smelled like pine. It actually, the fog smelled like pine. It was really cool. Now, that door that says tour starts here, it's actually supposed to be, that's where we were, quote unquote, supposed to go. And then the tour goes awry and they end up accidentally sending you through the factory. And then you see the exterminator system there. I just thought it was like a really cool, campy 50s infomercial vibe. I just thought it was a pretty fun house, but just not scary like they were playing it up to be. The bugs being everywhere. There was actually, we were told there were 30,000 bugs throughout this entire house, placed all over the place. Now, we also were told about this section here where the cockroach guy first week was an actual person. I remember that opening weekend, that person, that actor there was killing it, but apparently it distracted too much from the original scare that was in there. So they had to remove it and replace it with a static figure, which is kind of disappointing because I thought that character did amazing that first week. Now, this section here, I just thought it was really interesting. You can see like the outline of an eye, and I thought it was just a weird reference to maybe the Illuminati. I don't know. And here's the section for like the termites or the bed bugs with jumbo grub. I just thought that was cool as well. The spider section, I am terrified of spiders, just letting everyone know that. And then we have that massive bug there right at the end of the attraction. And when I saw that the first time, I was like, whoa, that is a massive bug. And this is just a normal tent house. This is awesome. All right, so little update. We have now been through 5 of our 6 houses. We're taking a little break. Going through Universal Monsters, I really am able to enjoy that a little bit more. Be able to see a couple things. Unfortunately, we weren't allowed to take a lot of pictures there or in Descendants of Destruction. It was really weird about Descendants. But then going through bugs, it was really cool to see all the bugs in there and the amount of bugs that there actually are that you don't really see at night. And a lot of the different effects that you don't really see at night, and you're trying to figure out how it works. But it's really cool seeing all of those. Now we have one more house left to do, and that is Blum House, which once again will not have a lot of photo opportunities because it's an IP. So the amount that we are going to take, I think she said there's only 2 rooms or 2 or 3 rooms that we're actually able to take pictures in there. So I'll try to make the most out of it. And now we're on to our final house. This is Blumhouse. We actually did Blumhouse backwards. So we did the black phone first, then we did Freaky. So we are in the basement on this first scene here. You can see the stairs that lead up to nowhere, but in the movie they led up to the kitchen. And then you can see the scrambled eggs there and his little rocket that he stabbed the grabber with. Unfortunately, they didn't have Sprite there, but I understand that they didn't have Sprite, but I would have been a nice touch had they included that. And now you see my many pictures of the phones throughout the entire house. They actually were given 6 copies of the exact same phone, and it was the exact same phone from the movie. And there were a couple that were actually screen used, so that was super cool to be told that. And we're here in the naughty boy scene with the grabber, and you can see the stove in the background. We were told to reference the stove. The Tampa stove is the exact same stove that was used in the movie, and the art and directory person had to go all the way out to Tampa to get it. I just thought that was pretty funny, and they were like, we're not really allowed to talk about a lot from this movie, but our art and directory person wanted us to reference that for the tours. And here's me and the grabber. What a guy. And now we're on to the Freaky section. We weren't allowed to take a lot of pictures once again because it's an IP, but just seeing a lot of those cool sections there. My favorite section had to be the table saw section here. Super awesome, and seeing that how the effect works with the body being able to move back and forth was just really awesome. I loved the Blumhouse house this year. It was super surprising. And just like that, we are done our Unmasking the Horror tour. This tour this year was really good. All of the houses we were able to go through were awesome, and the fact that most of them were originals were amazing, and the fact that we went through my second favorite IP at this event this year. I love Blumhouse this year. They did a killer job, and just everything about this tour is amazing. If you guys have any opportunity to go do these tours in future years, I 100% say that it is worth the money. Like, they do a fantastic job, and the tour guides are very knowledgeable. 100% suggest doing an Unmasking the Horror tour. But if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you drop a like and also comment down below. Did you do a behind the scenes Unmasking the Horror tour this year? Are you planning on doing any in the future? Let me know down below. But as always, I'm Michael giving you the all clear, and all clear means that you are out of here. See you guys next time.